Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my home. This morning, as you can see, it's still dark outside. We're going to be cooking a prime brisket. So we want to get started very early today. It's actually gonna take all day. It's probably going to take into the night. So we're preparing this actually for tomorrow.
All right, well, first things first here, we're going to open this up and dab all the juices out of it. Now, the brisket is made of two separate muscles, the point and the flat. The point is a larger piece that kind of sits on the flat. We're going to take off all the fat that we can that's not going to render down the little pieces on what is going to be the underside, and then flip it over. And this is going to be, I'm going to keep this as the top of my cook. I'm going to take off the fat here until there's only about a 1/4 inch layer. And you want to try to round all the edges to make sure that the smoke has somewhere to go around the edges of the brisket. You don't want it to be stopped by any hard edges. Of course, next we're going to go ahead and use a binder of mustard. I start off with my pepper, and the reason for that is we want that nice looking bark. Again, this is the underside of the brisket, but just simple pepper, garlic, and salt. And it's okay to season this pretty heavily. Of course, it's a large piece of meat, and you're not going to over season it, so don't be scared of it. If you want more of a Texas style, which I like, brisket, is going to be heavy pepper. Make sure you get all the sides. It's very important. Get that whole thing covered. It's gonna be a beautiful thing, man. That bark, when it comes out, it's gonna look so good. It's gonna have that nice flavor on the edges. You're not gonna over season this thing. Look at that. That's beautiful. So go ahead and put it in the smoker. We have it set for 225 degrees. And there's that fat that I like to cut off, and I'm gonna smoke that, put it underneath. Make sure that I'm not gonna get any flare-ups, but I'm also gonna render down all that fat. And I'm using hickory wood smoke today. I actually put a lot more in there than that, but there you go. After 6 hours of smoke, you start to see the bark kind of form up. Then we go to 7.5 hours. You can really see that it's starting to smoke. Now, I'm starting to spray this at about 7.5 hours with a mixture of water, some beef bouillon, and a little bit of olive oil in there. And now at 8 hours, you see that bark really formed up nice. And it's time to pull it and to wrap it. And a lot of people say you wrap it at 165 degrees. I check to make sure that the fat is rendered to where I want it, that the bark is where I want it to be. And then I go ahead and pull it. There's something called the stall that's happening there. And that what's going on is the moisture from that brisket is actually coming out of the brisket and stalling it, because that moisture is equal to the heat that is that the smoker is trying to push out. So go ahead and wrap it real tight, put it in, and let it roll. Now, after 15 hours, about anywhere from 195 to 203 is the temperature. But what I'm doing here, again, I'm not looking just at the temperature. I'm probing it to see if it's ready. And I'm telling you, this brisket was like butter. There's the tallow that I was telling you about that I save after the cook. You can pour it through a cheesecloth into these jars. You can use it in later cooks. And it's just a wonderful thing. You can use it to cook other things. You cook eggs with that. But I use it in other cooks. Now here's something a lot of people don't do. I let my brisket rest for about 30 minutes, and then I wrap it in saran wrap after it's rested and cooled down a little bit on the outside for 30 minutes. What that's going to do is hold in all that moisture. If you put it just in a pan to rest, it's going to let all those juices out. But with the paper and the saran wrap, it's not going to let the juices out. Then we're going to go ahead and wrap it in a towel and put it in a cooler. And at least, you want to leave it at least for 2.5 to 3 hours. If you could get till about 5 hours, it's even better. Now let's go ahead and open this thing up. It's been resting throughout the night, and when it's ready, it's going to be about 150 degrees internal temperature. So you can check it for that. But you look at all that juice and all that flavor that's there that we did not lose because of the way you wrapped it. You can actually take that paper and wring it out. There's so much juice in there. This brisket, again, it was a prime brisket. It came out tender. Look at that. That is what you want to see, a beautiful smoke ring, but it is so juicy in there. We haven't lost anything. It's not dry. You've got that nice bark on there. I mean, this just turned out absolutely fantastic. Now, some of you may be hesitant to give this a try because it takes a long time and it's costly. But let me tell you this, it is well worth it. I will be putting out more videos on how to smoke a brisket and some of the intricacies involved to help you all out. But let me tell you, this is definitely something you want to try.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a piece out of the middle, do the hang test. It's extremely tender. It's got a ton of juice. The pull test, it's amazing. So now it's time for the taste test. It's so good. It's so good. It's got great bark on it. It's still juicy, it's tender, melts in your mouth. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. It's so good. Y'all gotta do this. It's amazing. Thank you. God bless.